few purchases are more emotional than fine jewelry, but being led by your heart and not your head can get you into trouble when shopping. Joining us with some tips on how to avoid overpaying is Mandy Walker, Consumer Reports Senior Projects Editor. Good morning, Mandy.
Good morning.
All right, we're talking jewelry, something all women love. Let's start with gemstones. How can we be sure that we're buying the real deal?
Yeah, well, you want to ask. That's the most important thing. When you go in, ask if it's a natural stone, which means it's the way it was in the earth, it's pulled out of the earth, or is it a synthetic stone, which means it was made in the laboratory. There's a couple different ways that's done, and that should be a little less expensive. And of course, there are imitation stones, which we think of as usually the colored glass. It's just made to look like the real thing.
Right, now sometimes gemstones are enhanced. Why is that, and how are they altered?
Yeah, well, stones often have fracture lines in them, and that can make them look less sort of sparkly. So they might fill those fractures to make them look better. And there's many different ways they can do that. But you do want to ask because it can affect the way you care for it. For example, you might not want to put it in an ultrasonic cleaner because it might shatter in certain conditions, or it might affect how it should be treated when it's being repaired. So you definitely want to ask and find out how it was enhanced and if there's any special care you need to have in mind.
Oh, that would definitely be a good thing to know. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So real gold and silver is marked. What do these markings mean?
It should be marked. You really want to look for a carat mark if it's gold, and next to that should be a stamp from the company that stands behind it. Same thing with anything that's marked silver or sterling silver. That should have a stamp from the company that stands behind it as well, very near to the mark. You might have to take a magnifying glass with you because sometimes they're very small, but you want to look for that.
Now, Mandy, obviously, if you want to spend a good amount of money on jewelry, you want to make sure that you're dealing with someone that's reputable. How do we know if we're dealing with a reputable jeweler?
Yeah, reputable jeweler, you can look for a jeweler that's been in your area for some time, that's got a reputation to uphold. You can ask friends and family for recommendations. You can also go on the website of the American Gem Society. They have certified jewelers throughout the country. You can look by state or do a zip code search, and you can find someone in your area that they've certified. They have to follow a strict code of ethics.
And when you're spending a lot of money on a purchase like jewelry, you want to make sure that it's covered. So how do you make sure that your purchase is covered even after you leave the store?
Right. Well, you want to find out what the return policy is, so you know you have a certain period of time to return it if you need to, and you want to see what the guarantee is as well. And that way, if you want to have it appraised after you've bought it, maybe just even for insurance purposes, but also to make sure you got what you paid for, you want to know that you have enough time to do that and then return it if you want to for any reason.
Now, Mandy, I'm sure a lot of people get a little bit nervous that they may be overpaying, and they try to compare with other stores to make sure that they're getting a good deal. What are some tips to make sure that you avoid overpaying for a piece of jewelry?
Well, jewelry, of course, is hard because it's kind of one of a kind in most cases, so you can't comparison shop for a washer or dryer model the way you can with other items. So you want to just educate yourself as much as possible ahead of time. We've got more information at consumerreports.org on our website. American Gem Society has a lot of good information. So educate yourself ahead of time, and then go to several stores so you kind of get a feel of about what the range is for certain kinds of gems and for the kind of pieces you're looking for.
And of course, always getting something in writing.
You want to have a backup of exactly what you bought.
Exactly.
Yeah, so you want to get everything about the stones that you're buying in writing. You know, what's the cut, what's the clarity if it's a diamond, etc. How has it been enhanced if it has, all the information, how many stones are in it, so you've got that in writing.
Wonderful. And obviously, we talk about emotion. You can always spend a lot less money and just write something from the heart, and that's emotional too.
Exactly, that's very important.
Thanks so much, Mandy. Happy holidays to you.
Okay, same to you.
Thank you. So before you head out to the store for those earrings or necklace you've always wanted or want to buy for your loved one, check out these tips again on our website, mymassappeal.com, later on today.